No Champions League football the year before, and a run of poor performances saw the end of Unai Emery's time as Arsenal manager in November 2019. Things looked bleak. Emery's replacement though, Mikel Arteta.
I want people hiring, I want people to take responsibility for their jobs, and I want people who delivers passion and energy to the football club. Anyone who doesn't buy into this, that it has a negative effect or whatever, is not good enough for this environment and this culture.
A surprising choice by the club at the time, a man whose only managerial experience came as an assistant to Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. He spoke of bringing the club back to direction, bringing Arsenal to where it used to be. Fast forward to August, and once again Arsenal had won an all too familiar trophy. But this time it felt different. In the summer, out went Mustafi, Mkhitaryan and Ozil, the first names part of a clear-out commissioned by Arteta. Although it would take the Spaniard 3 seasons to reach the Champions League, there were clear signs that Arsenal were moving in the right direction that Arteta spoke of. And in that time, Odegaard, Gabriel, White, Jesus, Zinchenko, Jorginho and others would all join, some becoming key pillars of Arteta's team. Bukayo Saka, the academy kid, becoming the main man, while Aubameyang, Willian, David Luiz, Kolasinac, Lacazette, Pepe, Leno and Torreira all were gone. Arsenal and Arteta, a few years ahead of the plan, got close. They got very close to beating Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Another step forward the following year with more signings, and this time they got within 2 agonising points of Pep's side. If 2023-24 was the step forward though, then 24-25 was a step, maybe even 2, back. Last season was meant to be Arsenal's year. After Manchester City won their 4th Premier League title in a row, the assumption, or rather the hope, was that City couldn't go for a 5th time. And on the Liverpool side, Jurgen Klopp had left and was replaced with a man fans of other clubs tried to compare to Erik ten Hag. But being Dutch and bold was as far as that comparison would go. The Reds wouldn't sign anyone other than a seemingly cursed Federico Chiesa either. Liverpool couldn't possibly win the Premier League, right? Well, Arne Slot made us all look very stupid, didn't he? And sure, maybe Liverpool had better luck with injuries, but after 38 games in a season, is there really any other reason why a team wins the league other than just because they were better than everyone else? Injuries lose games, not titles. That's down to poor planning and poor squad management. Now, in the interest of fairness, Arsenal had great injury luck for the 2 years prior, but that's the point, isn't it? When has a team ever played the same set of players for 3 seasons in a row and not had a collection of injuries? It was always going to happen. And on top of that, players were brought in to play positions they weren't used to, or weren't good enough in the position they were brought in for and then had to be moved. I mean, Kai Havertz to replace Granit Xhaka? Are you kidding me? Nearly 6 years ago, Arteta wanted to return Arsenal to the top to change the mindset. But after 3 failed attempts at a trophy, it seems excuses are forming part of that mindset once more. Arsenal have spent money. They have spent big money. And for the past 2 seasons, Arteta has talked about needs in the squad. Or more specifically, one need, a striker. Too long has the talk been that Arsenal need a number 9. In the 22-23 season, Arsenal were brilliant going forward. However, since then, we've seen a team lack creativity and put more emphasis on not conceding than looking to win the game. And the stats kind of back it up. Last season, they had 61 expected goals, Liverpool had 83. Big chances were 110, Liverpool had 150. And as a result, they only scored 69 goals. Similar story the year before, 77 XG and 113 big chances created. However, they did score 91 goals that year. However, the problem with that season is that it was a huge overperformance in terms of scoring goals. The creativity was still lacking. It wasn't sustainable, and in that season as well, they scored over 5 goals in a game 6 times. 15 games, 3 goals or more. However, last season they only managed to score over 3, 8 times. So a huge drop off in output as more reliance is put on the defence, and let's be fair, Arsenal's high goal scoring only came in the second half of that season. They scored 34 in the first 19 games and 57 in the next. Not representative. And now with the Premier League back this weekend, Arsenal have done a lot in the transfer window, including bringing in a striker. Victor Gyökeres was chosen ahead of Benjamin Sesko, which is probably the right decision really. He guarantees goals I think more than Sesko would have. And look, Arteta can't have any complaints, right? They've got a 9. However, will they actually be able to get the ball to Gyökeres regularly, as they lack creativity outside of Saka? Gyökeres also relied heavily on space in Portugal. Is he really going to get that much in the Premier League? They replaced Thomas Partey with Martin Zubimendi. Better person, better on the ball, better defensively? I'm not sure. One to keep an eye on against teams with powerful midfields, Aston Villa and Newcastle for example. Noni Madueke as well has been brought in. Is he their new left winger, or is he a Saka backup? Christian Mosquera as well, because Arsenal needed to bring the number of centre-backs at the club to an even 100. And you can't forget Norgard, who, to be honest, I do like. Bringing on a player like him when you're holding on to a result is really valuable. It's an okay window. Will it win them the Premier League? Who knows? I'm not convinced. Maybe they'll get Rodrigo, maybe they'll go for Eze, but again, where's he going to play? Left wing or replacing Odegaard? It's not clear. But it's almost another 200 million spent since Arteta took over. It really is getting to the point of now or never. Over 800 million spent in 5 years, and this is Arteta's team. It has been for a few years now. He's not working on a shoestring budget. He's not been told by the club who they're signing. It's more often than not his players. And when you look at how Slot won the league with Liverpool and the signings they've brought in, Mamadashvili, Kirkes, Frimpong, Leone, Ekitike, Wirtz, and the hopes to still bring in Guehi and Isak, they aren't going to get any worse. Manchester City have added to their squad too, but Rodri's continued injury record is concerning, and they haven't addressed the right back yet, which is, well, just weird. No, not necessarily. I think Arteta should have learnt from the PSG loss in the Champions League semi-final, and not bring on defenders when you're chasing a game. Saka and Odegaard shouldn't have the injury problems of last year, which will also help. Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly will also be 1 year older. On balance, they're probably stronger. But stronger by enough? We'll see. As usual, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and even comment if you wish. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.